Welcome friends to my channel. I am Sanjay Gore. I am presenting today a topic of internal control. Internal controls are important and relevant for information security management systems as well as GRC, governance, risk management and compliance, and also important for privacy. If you are searching for a domain of internal control, you have reached to a correct place. I hope that going through this presentation you will gain some more knowledge, and if you are already an expert, your knowledge will be refreshed. So let us begin. Are tools uh, to having an objective to mitigate or avoid the risks. The objectives are detective, preventive, deterrent and corrective. And mode of doing that is either physical, administrative or technical. So based on these four objectives, mode of control is decided: physical, administrative or technical. And enablers for this is people, process and technology. So looking these four objectives and three modes, one control can be implemented, and enabler to that implementation is people, process and technology. One objective of any control is one is reduce the likelihood or impact, and another is mitigate the consequence. So there are some detective controls. As example is given: infrastructure monitoring, capacity management and incident management. They are detective controls. They will try to reduce the likelihood itself or mitigate the impact. These are the preventive controls, illustrated being spare processing site, risk management or configuration management. These are preventive controls. They will try to prevent the likelihood itself. Okay, so if these two controls are not sufficient or passed by the incident, then there are some controls called as corrective controls. An example is given as backup and recovery, uh, business continuity and disaster recovery, service clauses under non-disclosure agreement, and service clauses under service level agreements, and UPS and power generators. So these are the corrective controls. These detective and corrective controls try to reduce the likelihood or impact, and corrective controls try to mitigate the consequence. Documents and documents. It is normally criticized for implementation of ISMS. It is dominated by documents. It is true, but it is unavoidable. We have various types of documents like policy. Policy is what and why, and intention is to guide and direct the organization. Standard is how much, that is to establish finite quantifiable requirements and also unified methods to measure that requirements. Guidelines is directions to attain the standard, and procedure is step by step. Procedure is attending what, how, when, and who, all aspects. As far as the authorities to create, make changes, and update is lying with senior management for policies, institute or best practices for standard, internal experts for guidelines, and functional experts for procedures. So procedures are, I can say the procedures are based on guidelines, guideline is based on standard, standard is based on policy. So policy will decide which standard is to be applied, then that standard, guidelines will be prepared by internal experts to attain that standard, and functional experts will create procedures to attain the guidelines. So this is the relation between various documents. Controls are based on these three things. Principles. There are major three principles: segregation of duties, avoidance of single point of failure, and avoidance of conflict of interest. These are the administrative principles. Measures to do that, or tool to attain that principle is obviously policies and procedures, standard operating procedures, SOPs, and various protocols. Specifically for HR, there are three principles. One is background screening. Background screening is a control which actually studies the various aspects of any person either entering into organization either as an employee or consultant and auditor, and his traits in previous organization in connection with information security. Mandatory vacation and rotation of duties, these are the two principles which are connected with basic principle of avoidance of single point of failure and avoidance of conflict of interest. What is mandatory vacation? Mandatory vacation is a provision where an employee is mandatorily should go on leave for a particular period of time uh, during 1 year or part of that. And rotation of duty is rotating the duties and changing individuals from one duty to another. So these are the basic principles for administrative controls. Segregation of duties is a principle of extension of avoidance of concentration of power. So these are the activities: approval, accounting, custody, and reconciliation. And one person or an individual or any function should not have the four authorities in one place. In this matrix, on columns, we have taken approval, accounting, custody, and reconciliation. These are the activities. And the same activities are also shown on rows. And they are assigned a typical duty of A, B, C, D. Just this is an illustration. A green check mark indicates allowable action, whereas red indicates prohibition. This listing of activities should be role based instead of individual based. It should be on transactional level and organizational level also. As far as possible, it should be defined in a granular level for the conflict of matrix. Then, as far as possible, it should be used utility tools to manage SOD because it is complicated. There should not be too many checkers for one maker. At the same time, there should not be one checker for many makers. RACI chart. RACI chart is an extension of organization chart applying the principle of segregation of duties. On columns, we have listed various functions and on rows various activities. And authority for that function and activity to be done by that function is indicated by RACI. R is a particular task. It is required that a particular function of an individual should perform, and the task is his responsibility. Accountable is a function where buck stops, meaning the authority is ultimate for that particular task. Consulting authority is an expert function for that particular task of a domain. Informing authority is where all the stock of the situation and all information should be gathered for information purpose, and it can be submitted to that authority on a decided frequency. Access control. Access control is used to regulate who is and who is not able to view or use the computing resources. There are four types of access controls: physical, administrative, logical, and data access. In this figure, I try to show how in an incremental way and in a hierarchy how a particular access can be granted. Physical vicinity. Physical vicinity means actual physical building or premises where your office, data center or factory located. Then various devices. Devices are all computing devices including your smartphone, laptop, PC, and console in office or any other devices like router, network router, etc. Then operating system is a system software which regulates hardware and applications and network systems. Then network systems and applications. So these numbers indicates which access control is required for this. So for example, network systems, it is 2 and 3, administrative access as well as logical access. For applications, 2, 3, 4, all 2, 3, but now best example is work from home, where it is not necessary for you to go physically, but you can work from home, but you need to have uh, administrative access control, logical access control, as well as data access control, because data access control is for business applications. These are some examples of physical access control: bolting door locks, cipher locks, electronic door locks, biometric, manual logging, electronic logging, photo IDs and badges, CCTV, etc. And there are many like security guards, control visitors access, bonded personnel, their deadman door, no mention of location, single entry point, alarms and escorting. No mention of location is important because is a simple reason that suppose your data processing or IPF, information processing facility, it should not be shown outward by a signboard that this is a data center or network center, because it will be easier for the intruder to identify. And escorting is another control where any visitors coming to your vicinity should be escorted till the time he leaves the premises. So these are the examples. Logical access control process. The process has 4 points: identification, authentication, authorization, accountability. IAAA. Identification is user ID or SSID. User ID is for normal applications, SSID for networks. And the purpose is identifying the user. Authentication could be either by password, passphrase, or two-factor authentication. The purpose is confirming right person is accessing the right resource. Authorization is what is allowed to the user, and it could be based on need to know or need to do. Accountability is a track of access and activities, and the purpose of it is monitoring. So popular control of logical access is password. Password main objective is to authenticate the user. There are set rules uh, like length of determination of length of the password, a combination of upper and lower cases, inclusion of special characters, non-inclusion of identifiable information like date of birth, user ID, or name of the company, and it should be easy to remember and difficult to guess. Aging is also required because password should have its own age, like for 3 months or 6 months, like decided based on the um, resources what is going to be regulated. And there should be rules also for reusability of a aging password. Single sign-on is nothing but a single point of entry, so the user need not log in again and again for various applications. And clipping level is a level number of levels where a failed logon is allowed. Uh, for example, in banking transactions, normally it is 3. So you are allowed to give wrong passwords for 3 times, and 4th time the account is locked. Two-factor authentication, or in brief it is called as 2FA. There are 3 factors for any authentication: something one knows, something one has, and something one is. So knows is a password, has could be smart card or pop card, and is a fingerprint or any biometric like retina and other things. So any two of that is called as a 2FA. KeepHab is a type of 2FA, two-factor authentication. So it confirms the user has to enter his user ID and password or passphrase, and then enter a number generated on this device, which is called as key fob. A key fob is a type of security token. It is a small hardware device with built-in authentication mechanism. The key fob control access to network services and information. Specifically, they are providing users with a key fob that produces a new 6-digit code, say after every 30 seconds. Users will have to enter his password and number generated on keypad. So this is CAPTCHA code is a simple mechanism to it is a Turing test to identify that user is not a robot and is a human being or individual. There are three types. One is you have to just click somewhere um, in a place provided. By clicking that, you will the system will identify that you are not a machine, you are not a robot. And I think it could be a small challenge, like you have to calculate some very simple mathematics like 7 plus 2 or 9 plus 3, like that. Another could be various pictures are shown and you have to select a particular pictures only, like only flowers or traffic lights, etc. This is a Turing test and it is mainly to prevent denial of service or distributed denial of service attacks. Is a network security system designed to prevent unauthorized access to or from a private network. So it is conceptual. You cannot show a particular part of a system that this is a firewall. Um, as it is shown as a wall brick, this is concept that the green arrow shows that any data can be flowed from internet to a system. Red indicates that it is not. The firewall could be between internal network of the organization and internet, that is international network, or it could be between two networks of the same organization. Application software is commonly defined as any program or number of programs designed for end user. Application control is actually residing on operating systems and network operating systems. It has three controls. One is input controls, processing controls, and output controls. Input controls include edit controls, error reporting, and handling. So these input controls actually regulate the correct data is entered into the application. Processing control is batch controls and data file controls. So there is one test called as ACID. These controls are established in while processing the data, and output control is data file controls and transaction. Encryption is the process of taking plain text like a text message or email and scrambling it into unreadable format, that is called as ciphertext. This helps protect the confidentiality of digital data either stored on a computer system or transmitted through network like internet. So this is a plain text as shown. This is a plain text. After applying encryption process based on various algorithm and standards and combination of symmetric or asymmetric keys, it is converted into ciphertext. Then this ciphertext is by using a decryption process again converted to the plain text. So main objective of this is to make any information to keep confidentiality. Uh, Encryption types for data in motion are like this: virtual private network for remote access, Wi-Fi protected access WPA or WPA2 for wireless access, secured socket layers for web browsers, a secure shell for secured uh, remote system administration. So all these four encryption is used. Vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Vulnerability assessment is a bridge between risk assessment and risk treatment. Vulnerability assessment lists out all potential security issues and processes of identifying the vulnerabilities in your network, system, or hardware. Penetration testing is based on vulnerability assessment reports. What is vulnerability? Vulnerability is lack of something, lack of a control, or inefficient or ineffective control. One of the tools of risk assessment, VA, is normally done using sophisticated software utility, whereas penetration testing is done manually. VA is done to identify vulnerability, whereas PT is done for eliminating false positive. Normally done by different individuals. The person who is doing VA is normally not doing PT to apply principle of segregation of duties. Presentation, we'll be talking. I will try to give some illustrations of internal controls. On this chart, I have listed out the enablers like people, process, and technology. On this side, the various modes, administrative mode, technical mode, or physical mode. Here, I have listed objectives: preventive, detective, deterrent, and corrective. So these are the objectives. And here I listed out all controls, majority controls. So now let us see one by one. A firewall is a technical control as well as it is preventive also and detective also. Because why both? Because unless detected cannot be prevented. Then CCTV monitor. Closed circuit TV monitor is a technical and it is for physical entry or physical exit, etc. Control. It is detective control as well as it is deterrent control also, because the person, if he knows that there is a CCTV, uh, it will deter him from entering into the area. Access is, yes, it is a physical control. If any person wants to enter into area, it is controlled by key guard, so it is a technical. This is for physical entry and based on various rules, so it is administrative also. And it is preventive. Isolation of server in case of attack. The particular server where the attack is there, it is isolated, so it is a physical control. Mode is physical. Isolation of server, further attacks are prevented. Segregation of duties is, yes, administrative control. It is preventive, it is corrective and deterrent also. Call to police is an action by the security guard. It is administrative because he is authorized to do that. Call to police is deterrent because any person is entering, he knows that the sentry guard, security guard may uh, call to police. And corrective, it is a corrective action also. Last word is administrative, technical and preventive. These 15-18 minutes we are talking importance of internal controls and how they are relevant and important for various aspects, but they are not free from any limitations. We will try to list out the limitations: conflicting goals and responsibilities. Human element is also important because man behind machine. Uh, Various activities is ruled by the perception and attitude of the person. Cost and benefits, because these internal controls are not for free. It has a cost, and you have to consider various costs and benefit analysis. Compliance, revision of regulations is increased. It is a worldwide phenomenon, and compliance to that is a very difficult task. At the same most of the time, it is conflicting with business goals. Keeping pace with technological development is also a challenge. Um, and education and awareness. Education is depending on in attitude and learning capacity of human being. Attrition. So most important limitation for internal controls is attrition. As I have said, human element is very important in effectiveness and efficiency of a particular control. And human turnover by HR, people are gaining knowledge, they become acquainted with your systems, well trained, and suddenly they may go to another your competitor. So it is a two-way loss. One is you are losing an expert, and at the same time, whatever expertise he has gained by your resources can be used by the competitor. So these are the limitations of various internal controls. So friends, we have reached last lab of my presentation. Today's topic was internal control. I hope you must have enjoyed whatever I shown in my video. Please subscribe the channel if you are not already subscribed. Please give likes because your like will enthuse me more. Please comment and give feedback. Your feedback helps improve my next presentation. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.